Hello, I'm Michelle. I'm the Educational Outreach Coordinator at the Arkansas Archaeological Survey. And I'm here today. I'm going to give you just a little brief overview of our survey annual report. And you might not all know, but we put out an annual report every year of kind of all the things we've done in the fiscal year. So these reports are always a year behind. So this is fiscal year 2020 to 2021, so July 2020 to June 2021. Which is last year, and if you'll remember last year we were still pretty heavy in COVID restrictions and things like that. But I actually, when I read this report, I was amazed at how much all of our archaeologists got done despite all of the restrictions on what we could do and who we could do it with. So I want to keep this short. You'll see I have the website open behind me and I'll leave a link below. We have it on our website, the full version as well as the highlighted version with details about those different highlights. But today I'm going to give you the really highlighted headline version of what all the stations and the different departments in the survey have been working on this year, because I don't want this video to be super long, but I want you to know about all the cool work we've been doing. So we're starting with the UAF Station. They did a field school for students at the Watts Farm site. They also have been doing a lot of bluff shelter recording in Northwest Arkansas. And they've also worked a lot with legacy collections, so collections that are donated to the survey from collectors that we then have to process and go through and see what kind of research questions we can ask of those collections. At the UAF Station, so Fort Smith, they've been working on the analysis of the Woolsey artifacts, which was a training program a few years ago. They've also been helping with remote sensing work at Spyro-related sites over in eastern Oklahoma. And we do that because obviously there weren't state lines in the past. And so we want to know what Native American groups were doing in this region in that time period. And they have also been working on the Wilhoff House, which is a historic site in Fort Smith. At the UAM Station, which is in Monticello, Dr. Jody Barnes left at the end of 2022, but prior to that she was working on the Hollywood Plantation and writing up and researching that site. At UAPB, which is in Pine Bluff, they have been working with Boy Scouts on merit badges, archaeology merit badges, and doing that virtually since they couldn't meet in person, so that was a new endeavor. They've also been working on artifact analysis from the Eagle Lake site, as well as legacy collections, and doing a lot of groundwork at doing the background research on Arkansas Post and what we can learn with doing more archaeology there potentially in the future. At WRI, which is the Winthrop Rockefeller Institute on Petit Jean Mountain, they have been doing a lot of work with rock art and photogrammetry. Photogrammetry is a way to take photographs and turn them into 3D images, so that's very cool. They've also worked on the Ida Bell Cemetery, and there is a link, again in the description below, to a story map about that cemetery and that site. They've also been working on the Safe Field Schools project, which is a big project in the Southeast to make archaeological field schools safer for more students. And that's a big project, and you can read more about it on our website, but it's very important work. At ASU, Arkansas State University, they have been working on the Ozarks Paleo-Indian database. They've also been doing cemetery recording and salvaging, and they've been doing work on instrumental neutron activation analysis, which is used for clay sourcing to figure out where clay and pottery may have come from. At HSU, which is Henderson State University, they've been working with the Hodges Collection to create 3D models and a website, as well as the actual display of the vessels at the Caddo Center. They've also been working on a project called Ancient Caddo Lifeways in the Saline and Washita River Valleys, which is a whole collection of research from different sites to see what life was like. And Mary Beth Trubitt put out a book in our research series called 2 Caddo Mound Sites in Arkansas, which you can buy on our website or read the description. They've also been doing a lot of archiving work, so scanning and working with legacy collections. At SAU, which is Southern Arkansas University, they have been working on the Locksburg Mounds artifact analysis and write-up. We did that training program there in 2019. So working on those collections, as well as all of the field paperwork, getting it archived, and pulling all the research together to put out a report. And they've also been doing cemetery mapping. At Parkin, we were working on Richards Bridge Area A, and that analysis is now finished of those artifacts. There are 4 more areas that still need to be processed. I worked on International Archaeology Day with Mel Zabecki, the Educational Outreach Coordinator, and we put together videos about the survey staff. And then we also put together a photo exhibit of the Sawdust Hill community at Parkin for Black History Month. At Toltec, they have the Plum Bayou Garden, which is a research garden, and that is still going on, and it's being taken care of and maintained. And they also have put together some temporary museum exhibits for the museum at Toltec. So then we move on to the CO, which is the coordinating office up in Fayetteville. Our director, Dr. Sabo, retired at the end of 2021, so we wish him well, and you can read more about his career and future plans on our website. Our state archaeologist retired at the end of 2020, so Dr. Zabecki is moved from educational outreach to state archaeologist. She met with interested parties throughout the state. She also did some interim director duties while George Sabo was wrapping up his time as the director. She also maintains our dermestid beetle colony, which is the colony that processes faunal remains so that we can have a faunal reference collection. In our registrar's office, we had 427 project requests that were processed. So access to a Mazda, help with records, doing collections, archiving things. They are also our NAGPRA point of contact, so anyone who has questions or needs information about NAGPRA processes, those go through the registrar's office. We've also been doing 3D scanning and creating the University of Arkansas Virtual Museum, which is now online. Again, you can find the link below. It's very cool. It will get bigger as time goes on and more objects are scanned and added to the museum. In the Educational Outreach Office, I came on board as the Educational Outreach Coordinator in April of 2021. Before that, Mel had put on teacher workshops in the summer to show teachers all of our archaeology resources that they can use in their classrooms. We planned a bunch of Facebook Lives for Archaeology Month. We worked with the Shiloh Museum of Ozark History in Springdale to put on Native American Days, which was a virtual event. So I think it reached about 2,000 students in its first year, and then we did it again this year, and we plan to continue it into the future. And the Educational Outreach Coordinator also runs all of the survey's main social media channels. So we have a Facebook page, a Twitter account, an Instagram account, and a brand new TikTok account, as well as this YouTube channel. In our sponsored research program, we do a lot of our historic cemetery preservation and research out of that department. In our computer services program, we maintain our own website, so we have our own IT people who do that. We have our backup servers, a Mazda database with all the state site files, and then we have another database that's getting into being used that has all of our collections inventory in it. And so keeping track of all of those, maintaining them, making sure they're up to the highest security standards. And then we also do archaeogeophysical work and GIS projects, and those are often in collaboration with other stations or with other entities across the state who need help. And we're also getting more and more into creating LiDAR, which is light detection and ranging topography maps to go with all of our research. In the publications department, Deb Sabo retired also at the end of 2021, so we do have a new editor now. Siobhan Smith is our assistant director for fiscal affairs, and Nancy Smith, no relation, is our fiscal support specialist. And in the publications program, they had net sales this year of $8,376, which is cool. Not a huge amount of money, but it keeps our publications program going. It pretty much kind of supports itself, which is important because we want to get archaeological information out to as many different audiences as possible on YouTube, in print, on social media, however we can do it. We also have our photographic and graphic arts department, and some of our YouTube videos are edited in there. Rachel does a lot of drawings, maps, any of the kind of artistic endeavors that we need for any of our publications or for any of our social media outreach. And then the Society Survey Liaison is also in the CO, and she works with the Arkansas Archaeological Society and the Arkansas Archaeological Survey to make sure our co-produced projects come out well. So that's the annual training program in June, annual meeting in the fall, and then Archaeology Month in March. So obviously we had Archaeology Month, there's always a poster, there's always a bunch of events that come out in a brochure. She puts those together. We have society membership has to be kept track of, that is in her department. And this year, due to the restrictions of meeting in person at our individual chapters, Marilyn put together a series of virtual talks. So we had them on Zoom and they are now on the Society's YouTube channel. So if you want to go back and see all of the talks that were available this past year, you can do that there. So I think that wraps it up. This is a little longer than I hoped, but I hope you got a little bit of an idea, and go to our website and see more details about any of those projects that might have piqued your interest. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!